Good afternoon. Welcome to the 2023 Bradley County HCI Workshop. I trust all of you here and those of you watching wish to propose a project for funding and are representing a 501c3 organization, a governmental entity, or government-appointed board, committee, or association. I am Lori Moultrie, Bradley County HCI Administrator. In 2000, Bradley County received approximately $15 million from the sale of Bradley Memorial Hospital. Recognizing a healthy community is important to all citizens, the county chose to invest the funds to benefit residents in the areas of health, wellness, and quality of life. The county created the Healthy Community Initiative Committee, HCI, to be both a funding and a coordinating body for organizations that voluntarily cooperate with HCI in providing projects that improve the health and well-being of our community. The Commission appoints one representative for each district, and the county mayor appoints two representatives to the committee. The final decree defined the scope of the Healthy Community Initiative as health for programs and projects that have the purpose of serving unmet healthcare needs within the community regardless of the ability to pay. Wellness programs or projects that have the purpose of educating the community on the physical and mental aspects of maintaining and improving one's health. Quality of life programs or projects that enhance or improve the physical or mental health of the citizens of Bradley County. The Bradley County Commission identified the following areas for primary consideration: capital projects that will provide recreational opportunities for Bradley County citizens, and capital projects that will leverage other funding such as state, federal, or grants from private foundations to enhance health, wellness, and quality of life. Bradley County does not fund programming, but rather bricks and mortar type projects. If you have a programming project, please contact the United Way HCI committee. This is probably the perfect time to mention that applicants are not permitted to apply for or receive both HCI funds from Bradley County and United Way during the same year. Speaking of the United Way, they regularly undertake a community needs assessment, which may be found on their website. The 2022 Community Needs Assessment identified the following needs: stable housing, access to health care, access to quality child care, transportation, substance abuse, and domestic violence. Meeting any of the aforementioned needs will certainly bolster your proposal. As I noted earlier, eligible HCI applicants include local governments, state agencies, commissions or boards established by local governments, agencies established by the state of Tennessee, and 501c3 organizations. It is important to note projects ordinarily funded as a part of local government will not be considered. Bradley County has awarded more than $1.5 million for projects in our community. Past project awards range from $5,000 to $70,000. You can see some items on the screen there. There's a Greenway Bridge near Tinsley Park, the Farmers Market on Urbane Road, a restroom facility at the Civitan Handy Park at Stewart School, an outdoor classroom at Prospect, the Veterans Home, pickleball courts, the old Dobbins-Bennett Bridge on the Candies Creek Greenway, Phase 1, the playground equipment at Freedom Park. The Hoyt Berry Park in Charleston now has two basketball facilities, one regulation size and one smaller one. The Boys and Girls Club, multi-purpose courts and pavilion, ball fields on Minish Road, Life Bridges Medical Clinic, Freedom Park Pavilion, So those are some of the things, some of the pictures that we have of some projects that have been completed with the help of HCI funds. This year, Bradley County has $120,000 to award for projects. There are a number of key deadlines that needed to be added to your calendar. The first is November 9, which is the deadline to submit letters of intent. The next date to add to your calendar is December the 15th, which is the deadline to submit full applications. The committee will not consider letters of intent or applications received after 4:30 p.m. on the deadline dates. Please note, I am available to provide a procedural review of your application or letter of intent prior to the deadline. The letter of intent allows you to introduce your organization and to tell the story of your proposed project to the HCI committee. Regale the HCI committee with the story of your proposal and how it will enhance our community. Make a compelling case why your targeted audience wants this project and provide evidence that they need the project. Include all benefits to the targeted population, both direct and indirect. Make sure to include a project budget, your organization's current fiscal year budget, and a list of your board of directors. Your story should be long enough to cover the pertinent information of the project, but short enough to be intriguing. The HCI committee's initial assessment of the letter of intent determines if the project is within the scope of healthcare, wellness, and quality of life. Enticing letters of intent will be invited to submit a full grant proposal. You successfully baited us with the letter of intent, and now it's time to set the hook. Just like with the letter of intent, make certain all requested information is provided. Whereas the letter of intent was a short story, if you will, the full application is a deep dive into your proposal. Be dynamic and captivating, thorough and concise when telling your story. Be factual and provide evidence for every claim. This is not the time for conjecture. The HCI committee assesses each application with the help of the checklist and evaluation form. Use the checklist, which will be included in your application packet, to ensure all required information is provided. I implore you to objectively assess your application with the checklist and evaluation form prior to submitting it. If you can check all or most of these boxes, you can rest assured that you have a strong application. If awarded, you are required to provide quarterly reports to the HCI committee, March 31st, June the 30th, September 30th, and December 31st. These quarterly reports confirm to the committee that your project is progressing and is on track. Please submit these reports to me by the due dates, and I will share them with the committee. Bradley County HCI grants are reimbursement grants. Upon completion of your project, you must submit a reimbursement request worksheet, including paid invoices and confirmation of payment. 2 HCI committee members and myself will make arrangements to meet you on site to conduct a site visit. Following a positive site visit, we will sign off to release the funds to your organization. You may submit one reimbursement request at the conclusion of the full project, or you may break your project into phases and submit reimbursement requests at the completion of each phase. Just remember, any submitted reimbursement requests must be verifiable. We've got to be able to see that what we're reimbursing, the work has been completed. Let's see. With each reimbursement request, you must demonstrate that benchmarks are being met according to the schedule that you provide. You must also maintain an accounting system to properly account for all grants and matching funds in addition to the HCI funds. A report detailing the expenditure of HCI grant funds is required at the completion of the project. Again, I urge you to maintain meticulous accounting records. Your reimbursement is contingent on these receipts, invoices, and payment records that you submit. Also, please note funds spent prior to the fully executed HCI contract will not be reimbursed. All project expenditures must take place during the terms of the contract period. Any changes to your project must be submitted in writing to me, and I will submit those to the committee for them to review and to approve. There is the full timeline on the screen, and so I ask you again, mark your calendars. November 9 at 4:30 is the latest you may submit your letter of intent via snail mail, email, or hand delivery. Now that the cycle is underway, please direct your questions to me. Our committee members are no longer allowed to discuss with you potential projects, so please feel free to contact me anytime at 423-728-7105 or at lmoultrie@bradleycountytn.gov. Do any of you have any questions today? No? Well, before we go, I want to share just a couple of cautionary tales that we have encountered over the years. If your project requires building, concrete, asphalt, please select a reputable provider that guarantees their work. I understand that your cousin's spouse's nephew is just starting a business that offers a significantly reduced rate. But just remember, they're brand new and they're inexperienced. In one scenario, the organization realized prior to the work being completed that the work was subpar. Luckily, recognizing that during the process, they had time to pivot to a reputable provider to complete the project. Yes, it cost additional funds, but the project was completed and the community will be able to enjoy their project for years to come. In the other scenario, it took about 1.5 years to realize that the work was subpar, and that organization had to demolish all of the work that had been done and replace it on their own dime. So I urge you, get a detailed plan of work from your provider, get a work guarantee from your provider, and talk with their references. Another scenario involved a provider billing for more services than they provided. It's been several years ago. I can't recall if it was asphalt, concrete, or something, but the company billed them for, let's say, 25 yards of concrete. Well, during the site visit with myself and a couple of the committee members, we realized that there were only about 10 yards of substance poured. So we didn't pay for the extra. You know, the organization had already paid for the 25 yards. We only paid for the 10 that was actually there. So the organization had to eat those costs. I promise you, if you will maybe get in touch with a friend or an acquaintance that has some experience in these fields to be an extra set of eyes for you, I think your due diligence will pay off and save your organization a lot of headache and costs. Lastly, we are in a time of inflation. When you submit your project and your project budget next month, I suggest that you consider including a contingency plan. What may cost $1,000 in November could potentially cost $2,500 in May when it's time to actually pull the trigger and purchase it. And HCI awards an amount that doesn't change. So if your project needs $10,000 in HCI funds and you realize that they've jumped their cost to $15,000, HCI will not change their awarded amount, because typically we award every penny that we have each year, so it's already accounted for. So carefully, I say all that to say carefully plan your costs. Are there any questions at all? I'm trying to look. I'm not so sure that let me check online and see if anyone has any questions there. I don't see any. So, with that, I guess thank you for your desire and your efforts to improve our community. I look forward to your proposals, and I wish all of you the best of luck. I have letters of intent for you at the podium and some general procedures for HCI if you'd like to pick those up on your way out. And otherwise, I look forward to seeing you before 4:30 on November the 9th. All right. Thank you.